hoping you've had a fantastic week. Welcome to another edition of Metropole Sports Center. My name is National Wano. Time to catch up with what has been happening in the sporting world. The following are just some of the things that you're going to be talking about on the show. The Harambee Starlets are officially out of the AFCON, as we call it, ACON tournament. This is courtesy of a letter that was sent to Barry. Apart from that, we are going to be talking about doing a review of the magical Kenya Open ladies golf tournament that happened this past week at the Vipingo Ridge. Away from that, just because before we delve into the topic of conversation, it won't be worthy not to mention that this past week, that is on Monday the 14th, was the Super Bowl event that was taking place in the US. And this year's winners of the Super Bowl are the Los Angeles Rams. This after they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. In terms of the Super Bowl, some of the things that people are talking about in relation to the Super Bowl was the halftime show performance that was courtesy of Dr. Dre, Eminem, and 50 Cent. Also, Mary J. Blige gave a really amazing performance in the halftime show of the Super Bowl. Where those are just some of the things that happened this past week in the sporting world. Now, shifting gears into our topic of discussion this past week, we're going to be talking about the following. That is the Johnny Walker tournament that has been going. Remember, it is called the Road to Gleaneagles. Now, the 8th edition of the Johnny Walker is going to be played, which are going to be the semi-finals of the tournament, are going to be played at the Muthaiga Golf Club. Now, this particular event comes at the backdrop of the Eldoret showpiece that took place on the 29th of January. Important to mention that this particular event has been sponsored by Johnny Walker, one of the brands under the Kenya Breweries Limited stable. Important to mention also that the winners of the Road to Gleaneagles event are going to be participating, are going to be receiving a fully paid trip to the prestigious Gleaneagles golf course that is in Scotland. So we are going to be updating you on how the results of that particular tournament are going to be at the end of this weekend. Switching gears to matters rugby now. The following is just some of the games that are set to be played in the Kenya Cup. And one of the key things just before we talk about that is the training of the KCB team ahead of their clash against the Strathmore Leos. This is what their strength and conditioning skill development coach, that is Mike Shamia, had to say about their upcoming fixture.
Mike Shamia, strength, conditioning and skill development coach, KCB Rugby. The last few games, yes, we've come from down. Some games we've started scoring. It's the way the league is. You know, teams prepare well for us, and the team come fighting for us, come fighting for points to get points out of us, and we have to fight back and get back into the game. It's part of the game. It is the way it is. Being a top side, those things happen to top sides, and it depends on how you come back into the game and win the game. And again, it's a matter of conditioning our players. It's a matter of playing to the whistle and playing to the last minute and the last second of the game. I don't think the semi-finals is secured yet because the league is still on. Yes, two big games coming up this weekend: Strathmore Leos and finally Cabarrus. We want to get maximum points so that we can go into the league on a high. The slots, we still have to fight for a better slot. If we win all the games with the bonus point, we might be top and have a home final. That withstanding, again, we need to win all the games to have a home semi. We want to finish on a high and have a home semi and have a home final, hopefully. There's no pressure to defend the title. Yes, we have to defend it, but there's no pressure to defend the title because we've been here before. We've been there for a while, and you know, the tail end of the games really depend on how we've conditioned our players, how we've coached our players, how our structure is working well, and I think by now our structure is slowly coming into shape, and that is what we are banking on, and that is where we put all our pressure. Pressure is on the opponent. Preparations are in top gear, but now we are dealing more with mental preparedness than the physical part and conditioning part, because we've had some time to do that. We've had a pre-season, we have the in-season, and again a few breaks here and there. But moving into the final, it is more mental preparedness of the players than the rugby itself. So we are really playing the rugby in the mind, and hoping to have a good semi and a good final.
And the following are just some of the games that are going to be played this coming weekend. That is the Strathmore Leos versus the Homeboys rugby team. That is and Menengai Oilers versus Kabras Sugar. Kenya Harlequin versus KCB. Masinde Muliro versus Blackbird. Nonde Scripts versus Top Fry. In terms of the results, the following is how the fixture stacks came out this past week. That is Nondis versus Mwamba. The game ended in favor of Nondis, who managed to score 12 tries. Mwamba were not able to score any try. Homeboys versus Impala. Homeboys managed to score 17 points against Impala with 12 points. KCB versus Menengai Oilers. The game ended 23-18 in favor of KCB. Top Fry versus MMU. The game ended 8-13 in favor of MMU. Now we quickly shift gears into the footballing world, where there was a bit of a sad news coming from the football front in Kenya. This is because of the announcement that our team, that is Harambee Starlets, are not going to be participating in the upcoming Women's AFCON tournament. Now the following is just the statement that was sent by the chair of the FKF caretaker committee, that is retired Justice Aaron Ringera. This is what he had to say when they were announcing that the team was not going to be participating in this year's showpiece. Important to mention that all this fracas was caused by one Barry Otieno, who sent a document to the Continental Sports, that is football governing body, that is CAF, stating that Kenya was not in a good position to host the tie against Uganda. As a result of that, the following is the statement that was issued by the chair of the FKF committee, that is retired Justice Aaron Ringera. All efforts have been put in place to enable the girls train effectively, including getting a new coach and a technical team for the Starlets. That letter by Barry has ensured that Kenya does not take part in the qualifiers, and we as the caretaker committee view that as a selfish act and an affront on our women who worked so hard to where they are right now. The FKF committee further wrote to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations on the 1st of February, that is 2022, on the actions of Barry, and requested that the gentleman in question be questioned on the same. Having exhausted all avenues as the caretaker committee, we are now left with no other option than to disband the camp and allow the girls to go back home. Harambee Starlets will not play in the AFCON qualifiers. Important to mention that if Harambee Starlets, I beg your pardon, had played this particular tie, it would have put them in a good position to participate in the FIFA Women's World Cup that was also slated to be played in a matter of months from now. And now shifting gears away from African Kenyan football, time for us to do a bit of a highlight on what took place at the Vipingo Ridge this past week. Important to mention that the Magical Kenya Ladies Open was taking place at the PGA accredited Vipingo Ridge. And the winner of this year's Magical Kenya Ladies Open was none other than one and only, that is who was retaining her title, that is Esther Henslett. Esther Henslett managed to card 70 and score a 2 under par 286 score. Apart from that, Esther managed to take home a prize money of 5.8 million shillings. Also important to mention that she was followed by Linnea Storam from Belgium, who managed to card a round of 33 in the first 9 and 37 in the second to finish the day with a total of 70 points, adding to a 74, 73 and 69 rounds in the first 3 rounds respectively. Well, that wraps up the first part of Metropole Sports Center. We do take a short commercial break. After the break, I'm going to be joined by our resident African football analyst, and we're going to be making sense of the incident this past week where the game pitting Vihiga Bullets against Gor Mahia had to be suspended indefinitely. Apart from that, we're also going to be making sense of that development in terms of Harambee Starlets, I beg your pardon, not being able to participate in the upcoming Africa Women AFCON tournament. See you after the break.